Today's May 12th, 2009, and I'm here today with Dottie Wilhelm. All right, Dottie, we're going to interview you and ask you some questions about Carroll County. I know you said you were born and raised here.
Yeah.
Would you care to share with us how old you are?
I am 77 years old.
Okay, you look wonderful. So you were born and raised here in Carroll County.
Yes, I was.
We can give us some insight about where you grew up, what part of Carroll County, and if you did any kind of farm work or anything like that, or some history with your family.
Well, I was born right in Hampstead, Maryland. I worked in a grocery store called Theory's Grocery Store when I was going to school.
And that was right in Hampstead?
That was right in Hampstead on Main Street.
On Main Street, okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's now an antique shop, I think.
Okay.
Well, after the store, it was Bob's Variety, and then it changed to the antique shop. And that's what it is now.
Okay.
And
how many siblings in your family?
I have 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. I have a nurse. I have a physical therapist, and I have a dental hygienist and a pharmacist.
And you said you were talking to me earlier about family-owned businesses. You want to share some of those?
We used to own the Hampstead Cleaners. We built in 1951 and closed that in 1975 when my husband got ill. And Marty Hill bought that, and it's now apartment houses.
Okay. And how about school? What school did you go to?
I went to Hampstead High School on Main Street.
Right.
And after we closed the dry cleaners, I went to work at Black & Deckers for a while, and then I went to work then for Rittenhouse Fuel Company as a manager there for 19 years.
Well, growing up as a kid in Hampstead, could you share a little history about Hampstead, or what did you do as a kid?
We had baseball, and the mill had a great big corncob pile. We used to, when it was snow on there, we'd slide down the corncob pile and ride bicycles and baseball and all the boy things and girl things.
And what did your mom and dad do as a living?
My mom was the housewife. She didn't work out.
Okay. How about your dad?
He was a carpenter.
And who did carpentry work for?
Carpenter and a welder. He welded for L&S Welding Company and did carpentry on the side.
How long was he with the welding company?
Gosh, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'd say about 15.
Long time.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like, let's see here. I know some childhood memories that you might want to share with you as growing up.
Oh yeah, I know one time I was over at my neighbor's house, and she had the wringer washer. And as the wringer went around, I'm stick my hand there and pull it back real fast, and stick it in. One time it went clear up to here.
Oh my!
So I yelled real fast, and she came in and got it loose. And of course, I had my arm in a sling for quite a while.
Wow!
Didn't do that anymore.
I was gonna say that was like entertainment.
That was
a little daredevil.
Daredevil there.
Did you attend a church there in Hampstead?
Yes, St. John's Methodist Church. Playing the bar there.
So the whole family went to the church?
Mm-hmm. Time I take one girl up, then I have to come back and then take the other one up. They had 2 different times for them.
How about holidays, like traditions in your family? Do you have special traditions that maybe you want to share?
Oh, we had the Wilhelm reunions every year. And the real reunions, but not as often. Maybe every 3rd year.
Right.
And so some good times there.
Do you have any like family heirlooms that you want to share with us? Or keepsake mementos, or anything that I know back in the day, a lot of people had special things that maybe were passed down from grandparents to your mom, and maybe nothing.
Nothing that way.
Okay. Can you? I know Hampstead that when you grew up there was, I guess, a small town, very small community.
Very small then.
So how many people do you think lived in Hampstead then when you were growing up as a kid?
I can't remember, but we started doing the Hampstead Business Association, like a little telephone book.
Yes.
With all the businesses in. Oh gosh, we started off with maybe about 4,000. We were up to about 16,000 then. Within about a 5-mile radius of Hampstead, we would give those out.
Mm-hmm.
We did one of them every year.
Wow.
When I was Expo director and
And
president of the Hampstead Business Association.
And you said you did the Expo. How many years was that?
I think about 8 years I did
8
that.
years?
Mm-hmm. And I was president of the Hampstead Business Association 2 years in a row, and I was on the council 4 or 5 years, whatever.
Were there any special, like, I guess, customs or food that your family shared? Like moms back then were really cooks. Like your mom, you said, was a housewife. So I know they did a lot of cooking. Was there any special dishes that you enjoyed growing up as a kid?
Well, we grew a lot of our own food, vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
We had a big garden then.
Right.
My mother canned a lot of food. It's like 8 of us in my family. So
A lot of canning. So it was 8 in the family total, your brothers and sisters?
I had 5 brothers and 2 sisters.
Wow. That's a big family. How about neighbors and that lived next door to you, or maybe close friends? Did you hang out with, associate with a lot of the neighbors and have like little get-togethers and gatherings and things like that?
Mostly your immediate family and your cousins, a lot of cousins. And
Right.
you had enough of them. Really,
That'll make
and
a
your
big
neighbors, too, like that.
That's true. Were there any, Hampstead today, how would you say it has changed over the years from when you grown up as a kid?
Yeah, immensely. We have a new shopping center north now, across from Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Kentucky Fried Chicken there now. We have a new CVS. We have China Manor, brand new China Manor. I forget how many stores are up there. There must be about 15, 20 new stores in that little development there, across from the library.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Back there. And
so a lot of developments have grown up since.
It's just all built up there. We got all these new schools, but I can't remember all the names of them. We have 3 schools. At Spring Garden. I can't think of all the names of them.
Yeah, there are a lot of schools
I
up
know,
there
it's
now.
one across from my condo and then one out further, and then one down down at Roberts Fields off of 30. These have all since I've retired.
Well, growing up as a kid in Hampstead, what did you do as far as like, I guess when you started dating, what did everybody do? Did you go to a movie theater? Did you guys do bowling, or what was around?
Movie theater, bowling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And was there any hot spots that the young teens would hang out at?
Well, dancing then, I was too young to dance right then. We didn't have school dances or anything like that. Proms, stuff like that.
Right. Was there like rec centers or anything like that where kids hang out or hung out?
Well, they have called the recreation center. They have bowling down below there.
Right. Okay.
That burned down too, That's not there anymore.
So that's not
Remember
there.
that? No? And they had apartments above that also. They had like a bar, pool table. Below there was bowling alley.
Well, is there any like historical events maybe affected your family growing up as a kid there that you want to share, that you can think about or think of?
Not off the top of my head.
How about any stories that you can think of, that, I don't know, your family first coming maybe to the United States or anything like that? Any that you can think of that go way back in your family?
That we traveled or something? Yeah, we traveled out west. I've seen all the states out there. We take the kids in the motorhome. I was a great fisherman, I like to fish and crab.
Right. Oh, that's
I
good.
got a citation for a fish one year.
Oh, really? How come?
That was some of them call them Kroger's, some of them call them, what's the other name for the Kroger?
Is that a certain type of fish you're talking about?
Yeah, the kind of fish I got a citation for at Chrisville.
Really?
And my husband and I used to fish and crab. We crab one week and we fish the next. Crab one week, fish the next, and then invite all the family in for crabs.
Wow.
You always come back with 3 bushel then. Now you come back with, what, a half a bushel? That changed. And that was more or less my life, like crabbing and fishing. And
Yeah. And how long have you been married?
about 52, 53 years.
It's a long time.
And then he passed away in '04, so.
Was there any special what kind of toys did you play with it growing up? Or what kind of toys did you get at the around Christmas time?
What kind of?
Like, were there special toys, like, you know,
For the kids?
For yourself, for you growing up as a kid, that you would get as gifts from your mom
Didn't
and
get
dad?
very many. I got a doll, my sister got a doll, and the boys each got a truck. They didn't get much. It was 8 kids.
Right. Did you used to string popcorn Christmas tree?
No, she didn't do that, but she always had a little Christmas tree there.
Mm-hmm. Did you always go out and cut your own tree down, things like that?
Yeah. My brothers did that. But
They
it wasn't a
what?
big tree. We didn't have room for a big tree.
Right, so it
Not
was a
then.
smaller.
Small tree. And the sleigh riding, you had a lot of sleigh riding then. There was snow out there. You just don't have that now like you did back then.
Yeah.
So, I love my basketball. I was a good basketball player. I love that.
Did you play that in school?
In high school, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Always on the team. But we didn't have we didn't have cheerleading then when I was going to school.
So what sports were there at the
There
time?
was softball, basketball. That's the only 2 I can remember. Oh, dodgeball, but that everybody played that.
Yeah.
But I was on the basketball team always.
Hmm.
Oh, roller skating, yeah. My brother-in-law opened Sportsman's skating rink about the same time. I think the year after we opened the dry cleaners, I think he opened Sportsman's Hall.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember that year.
They're still there today.
Yeah, but
Did
it
you-
burned down, remember?
Right.
Okay. Then Harry waited for a while. He didn't really want to build back because he's having a heart problem.
Mm-hmm.
But for him to get the money out of the rink, he had to build it back, which he didn't want to do. And then he lived, I guess 3 years after that. And then he died. And it's been sold.
And they sold it.
He left that to his son, and I think he sold it to someone else.
Oh, okay.
But it's now open. But we got to skate for free all those years.
Yeah.
All my kids went, the whole family, we helped. In fact, we all pitched in when Harry was building the skating rink. Like, my husband helped put the windows in. My other brother-in-law did the roof. He did roofs then, the tin roofs. And that was something kind of exciting for a while.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to maybe share? Did your grandparents or your parents have any stories that they might have told you as them growing up as kids and how their life was?
Not really. We're too busy working.
Are they also born and raised in
Yeah.
Carroll County also?
Yes, Patapsco. My mom was born in Patapsco, yeah. Daddy was born in Halksville Road, so it was all Hampstead.
Right.
Mostly.
Okay. Well, I thank you for your time
Yeah.
and everything. Again, I appreciate it, and I think it's great. To share all the facts and everything with Carroll County. What Carroll County was like growing up as a kid.
Yeah, like I said, I love Carroll County. Part of me.
Yeah, I like it here too. Thanks again.
Thank you.